Imagine waking up 15,000 years ago. There's no city, no electricity, no supermarkets. Just endless forests, freezing nights, and predators hiding in the dark. Every single day is a battle to stay alive. As the sun disappears, you sit beside a small campfire with your tribe. The flames crackle while the forest grows silent. Then, you hear something moving just beyond the firelight. Your heart starts racing. You grip your spear. Two glowing yellow eyes suddenly appear between the trees. It's a wolf. You expect it to attack, but it doesn't. Instead, it quietly watches you. You watch it back. Neither of you moves. That silent moment may have changed the future forever, because from this unlikely encounter would begin one of the greatest partnerships in Earth's history. The incredible story of how a terrifying wild predator slowly became humanity's closest friend. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Humans didn't wake up one day and decide to tame wolves. In fact, the wolves made the first move. Every time prehistoric hunters finished a meal, they left behind bones, scraps of meat, and pieces they couldn't eat. To humans, it was just garbage. But to a hungry wolf, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. Most wolves stayed far away. Humans were noisy, carried sharp spears, and controlled something every animal feared: fire. Getting too close was incredibly risky. But a few wolves were different. They were less fearful, more curious, and willing to take a chance. Night after night, those brave wolves crept closer to the camps. They waited until the humans fell asleep. Then they quietly grabbed the leftovers and disappeared into the darkness. Without realizing it, those fearless wolves had just started one of the greatest evolutionary partnerships in history. Their lives, and ours, would never be the same. Those curious wolves had discovered something incredible. They didn't have to chase deer for hours, or fight dangerous animals for every meal. Living near humans was simply easier. The friendlier a wolf was, the closer it could get to the camps. And the closer it got, the more food it found. Meanwhile, the aggressive wolves stayed deep in the forest. They hunted every day. Sometimes they caught food. Sometimes they didn't. Nature wasn't rewarding strength anymore. It was rewarding calm behavior. Over hundreds of generations, the friendliest wolves survived more often, raised more puppies, and passed those gentle traits to the next generation. Slowly, almost invisibly, the wolves around human camps stopped acting like ordinary wolves. Without anyone realizing it, evolution had quietly begun creating the world's very first dogs. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. The calm wolves didn't just survive longer. They had more puppies, and those puppies were naturally less afraid of humans. Generation after generation, the change was almost impossible to notice. No wolf woke up one morning as a dog. Instead, every new generation became just a little friendlier than the last, a little calmer, a little more curious. The wolves that trusted humans found more food, lived longer, and passed those same traits to their young. Nature wasn't following a plan. It was simply rewarding whatever worked best. Without realizing it, humans had become part of evolution itself, not by breeding wolves, but simply by existing. And over thousands of years, those tiny changes slowly created an animal the world had never seen before. The very first true dogs were beginning to appear. But how do scientists know this idea is actually true? Believe it or not, the answer came from an experiment in Russia. In the 1950s, a scientist named Dmitry Belayev wanted to solve one simple mystery. Could a wild animal become domesticated just by selecting the friendliest individuals? Instead of using wolves, he chose silver foxes. Every generation, he picked only the foxes that showed the least fear of humans. Nothing else mattered. Not their size, not their color. Only one thing: how calm they were around people. Then something unbelievable happened. After only a few generations, the foxes didn't just behave differently. They actually started to look different. Their ears became floppy. Their tails curled. Their faces became rounder. They even began acting like playful dogs. All from selecting one simple trait: friendliness. But here's the truly amazing part. The scientists never tried to change how the foxes looked. They only selected the friendliest ones. Yet somehow, every generation looked a little different. Their ears became floppy. Their tails curled upward. White patches started appearing on their fur. Even their faces became softer and more puppy-like. Scientists call this domestication syndrome. It means that when an animal becomes less fearful of humans, its body changes too. The same thing probably happened to ancient wolves. As they became calmer, they didn't just behave differently. They slowly started looking different as well. Long before anyone realized it, nature had already begun transforming wild wolves into the first true companions of humans. By now, these early dogs were no longer just scavengers. They had become something much more valuable. A second pair of eyes, a second pair of ears. While humans slept, the dogs stayed alert. Their powerful sense of smell could detect danger long before people noticed anything. If a bear wandered too close, or another pack of wolves approached, the dogs would bark and warn the entire camp. But the partnership didn't stop there. When hunters tracked deer through thick forests, the dogs could smell fresh footprints that humans couldn't. They chased prey, cornered wounded animals, and helped hunters find food more often. It was a deal that benefited both sides. The dogs received protection, food, and a safe place to live. Humans gained loyal partners that made survival much easier. Together, they became one of the strongest teams nature had ever created. Thousands of years passed, and the relationship between humans and dogs became even stronger. But something extraordinary was happening inside their brains. Unlike wolves, dogs learned to understand humans in ways almost no other animal could. Point your finger at something, and a dog instantly looks where you're pointing. Even chimpanzees often struggle with this simple task. Dogs also learned to read our facial expressions. They could tell when we were happy, afraid, or angry. And every time a dog looked into a person's eyes, something incredible happened. Both the human and the dog released a chemical called oxytocin. It's often called the love hormone, the same chemical that helps parents bond with their children. Over thousands of years, dogs didn't just become our helpers. They became part of our families. Think about it for a second. None of this was planned. No one sat down 15,000 years ago and said, let's create the perfect companion. It all started with a few hungry wolves, looking for an easy meal. But one small decision changed everything. The wolves became less afraid of humans. Humans slowly learned to trust the wolves. Generation after generation, that simple relationship grew stronger. Together, they hunted, protected each other, explored new lands, and survived challenges that neither species could have faced alone. Some scientists even believe dogs helped humans spread across the world, which means, without dogs, human history might have looked completely different. In a very real way, we didn't just shape dogs. Dogs helped shape us. Right now, as you're watching this video, there are more than 900 million dogs living around the world. From tiny chihuahuas to giant Great Danes, every single one of them can trace their story back to a few brave wolves standing outside a prehistoric campfire thousands of years ago. They weren't trying to change history. They were just looking for an easy meal. But that one simple choice created one of the greatest friendships the world has ever known. Today, dogs protect our homes, guide people who can't see, help rescue survivors after disasters, serve beside police officers and soldiers, comfort us when we're lonely, and become members of our families. It's amazing to think that all of it began with one hungry wolf and one campfire. So the next time your dog looks up at you, remember, you're looking at the result of thousands of years of trust, friendship, and evolution. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next adventure into the amazing stories that shaped our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.